Okay, good morning, everyone. Thank you, everybody, for joining us. Very excited to kick off this FinTech-Aviv Annual Summit 2021. It's been a wild year for us at FinTech-Aviv, and we saw our community grow massive. Today, we're going to have a packed agenda for you. So first, I want to thank everybody for joining us. All our members around the world. We have members for 5 different continents today, either viewing the live stream on Facebook, on YouTube, or joining our event platform right here. So we're really proud to host this annual summit where you'll see we orchestrated an event with over 50 speakers, 20 participating companies, so a lot of solution, a lot of technologies. We, as always, we believe in content and networking. So we really encourage you to join either our live stream on Facebook or YouTube, or join our event platform where you can engage other members either in chat. You can visit the booth of our sponsor. You can meet companies at their tables and get to know them better and have one-on-ones. So we really encourage you to come, be active, network, enjoy the benefit that the FinTech-Aviv is providing you as much as we can. Throughout the day, we're going to have keynotes, fireside chats, different panels on the various subjects in FinTech. But before we get to that, I want to present to you a little bit about who we are, and I'll ask my partner Nir, who's the founding partner at Equitech, to walk you through a little bit about our history, about what is FinTech-Aviv and Equitech. Then we're going to have a short overview of the different market trends and what are we going to talk about today in this entire session. And that's so we really hope you'll enjoy the entire summit. Feel free to ask questions, feel free to reach out and contact either us or any other speakers or members.
Thank you, Tal, and welcome everybody. Yeah, we're really happy to host everybody here on our different platforms. As Tal said, we're available on YouTube, on our website, FinTech-Aviv.com, on our Facebook page, and also here inside the Hermit platform. Here you can interact with different attendees and speakers. So we're going to present a few slides now before we start the agenda of today.
Here, I'll upload it.
Good. Okay. So it's a great time of the year, April. We like this month, and mainly because FinTech-Aviv is celebrating 7 years of operations. Since 2014, we're hosting different conferences, FinTech delegations, incoming FinTech delegations to Israel, outgoing FinTech delegations to different regions around the globe. We are basically working very hard to represent the Israeli FinTech around the globe. On top of that, I want to show you the slide of FinTech-Aviv. You can see that we have more than 30,000 members in our community, one of the biggest communities in the world, and it's definitely growing very fast, the fastest growing community in the world for FinTech, as far as we know. We have more than 80 events behind us after 7 years of operations. We hosted on our stage and on the last year on our virtual stage, in total, more than 500 different speakers, global speakers from all around the world. And Israel is a very hot FinTech market, as you all know, with more than 850 FinTech startups working in the region. So I want to thank you all for supporting us, and to our partners and sponsors and corporate partners for supporting us all along the way. And FinTech-Aviv is operated by Equitech Group, which you can see a bit of elaboration of what we do here and a bit of our services. Equitech Group is a FinTech consultancy, FinTech agency. We support different FinTechs to reach out to new markets. We support the financial industry to integrate, implement, and to scout for different innovations. So we're dealing with fintech transformation, advisory services, innovation scouting services, research and analysis in the fintech field, and also fintech training, workshops, and seminars. And talking about workshops and seminars, we're really working hard lately to curate another fintech course that will help different job seekers in the fintech field to have a practical fintech knowledge. So we are now initiating, together with our partners from HMS, a new fintech course which is subsidized by the government and is dedicated to job seekers in the fintech field. After the course, we will do our best also to help them find their new position in fintech. So please feel free to approach us over the websites, on our different platforms, or social media, or even here on the chat component inside Ermit to ask us for more details about this very practical fintech course that will also introduce you to different industry leaders in fintech. Okay, Tal, I think you're on mute. Now we're going back to Tal to talk a bit about the topics we're going to discuss today. Tal, please go ahead.
Thank you. So thank you very much, Nir. And yes, let's go through some of the topics and headlines of what happened in 2020. What do we expect from 2021? So investment-wise, we have today later on also a panel and different keynotes about this topic. One of the most, widely discussed element in investment, mainly in fintech, is the SPAC. So the boom that started in 2020, and we see that it's still rapidly grown in 2021. More than $80 billion raised in 2020. If we look and compare, so even Q1 in 2021 launched with a high increase in number of SPACs. So more than 80 billion, which exceed the total amount of SPACs in 2020. So this is remarkable, and it doubled or almost tripled the rate of IPOs of the existing companies. Different fintech SPAC. Fintechs are really enjoying the value proposition that allowing them entering the capital market and enjoying fundraising in a new methodology. Later today, we'll host Alex Ibrahim, the head of capital markets from New York Stock Exchange, and we'll talk more about why SPACs and what is happening in that industry. But we saw Moneyline acquired by SPAC of $2.4 billion, Payoneer 3.3, SoFi 8.6 billion. So the numbers are very high, actually exceeding valuation that expected. We have Laurel with expected valuation of 10 billion. So this is growing in capacity and rate that we haven't seen before in the market. Even in 2020, some of the that we've seen lately, other than SPACs, of course, a lot of investment went to private companies, which I'll touch in a second. Nir, let's talk a little bit about lending.
Sure. So we have a great panel coming today talking about different methods of lending and different trends in the lending ecosystem. We know how COVID-19 influenced this space really big time. One of the biggest trends of the year in 2020, of course, is the fastest growing Gen Z of borrowers. So this is the fastest growing space. And we see that different Gen Z borrowers are actually nowadays, they are more than 30% of the lending market, and they're more than 50% of the unbanking lending market. So we see alternative lenders, over 50% of Gen Z, they use digital wallets monthly. Over 75% out of them use other digital payments apps or P2P apps in the same time frame. monthly. We see the Generation Z hold up to $143 billion in spending power. So that's a huge number. And again, of course, they're really using different alternatives and alternative lending methods much more than any other segment or population segment that we see. Of course, that we see that the financial services firm, they must develop different products, and we're going to talk about these lending products and special products later on today during our lending panel. One of the biggest trends that we're going to touch is, of course, embedded finance. How can we not without? And point of sale lending as well. We see this trend definitely increasing, and also got a huge boost thanks to the COVID-19 situation. We're going to have also a representative from GFT, Nofar. She's going to talk about how their point of sale lending solution works and how he serves different lenders in the market, not just Gen Z, but obviously amongst them also Gen Z population.
We have a great panel of Insurtech featuring Lemonade and Plug, hosted by Deloitte, one of our strong partners and supporter of FinTech-Aviv. So in terms of Insurtech, first, data is everything, and we saw that in the past, and we expect that to grow. We expect that it will grow further in the upcoming years. So how do insurance companies actually utilize data? That's the interesting part. Shaping policyholder behavior using IoT, using either in the household or your physical, mapping your everything from your movement to the different activity that you do. Insight on customer healthcare, additional aspect of IoT and the various engagements and various data points that insurance company now have with the end client, and this all affect the pricing. The main idea is what we had in the past of I'd say a bulk-like insurance, where you would be fitted as a part of a larger group is kind of obsolete right now. The pricing methodology is becoming much more focused and size and directed to the exact consumer. In terms of gamification, please note that we're talking about gamification, not the gaming industry. The gamification market is expected to grow to 37 billion by 2027. Now, what is exactly and how insurance companies are benefit from it? And not only gamification, we had an event in March focused on that particular topic, and we saw that it is a great way for customer engagement and a real increase in the amount of people that in customer journey, and the amount of people in conversion to either onboarding or buy new products. We have the American Family Insurance who built an actual game where you build your house. It's kind of resembled to Sims, if someone here from my generation remembers that. So you build your house and build your career, and upon these you get what type of insurance that you should be buying, and so a very fresh way to encourage insurance.
And by the way, in terms of client engagement, we're going to have a very interesting panel later on today, hosting Facebook, Solitics, and other very good partners of us. So they will be telling us how they gamify different onboarding processes of different clients and how they improve conversion through gamification. So that's going to be interesting as well. In terms of open banking, we're going to have a few discussions today about open banking. I think it will be also something that we will touch all day long. Obviously, the open banking market, thanks to the ever-changing regulation, to the supportive regulation of it, is growing, expected to come to $43 billion by 2026. So it's a CAGR of 24.4%, which is really crazy. And we see the open banking global market growth as we see different fintechs developing different solutions for the banking industry to adopt. So we see the rise of the adoption in new applications. We see the supportive government regulations, as said, if it's open banking regulation, PSD2 and others. And we see that there is an enhanced customer engagement with open banking APIs that are spread out there and with different companies. One of these companies are Open Legacy, and Romy, their CEO, will be here later to explain us how they help to support the open banking trend in general.
Impact investment. We touched about investment in general, but we can't avoid the huge notice and focus on ESG. We see ESG is really I think the most dramatic shift in investment that we saw in the past, definitely the past year, and being focused more and more by investors who wants to exceed not only having a financial benefit from their investment, but also having some sort of impact. So the most impactful one, of course, is social, where it's coming to the forefront, and in analysis made by Refinitiv, also one of our very good supporter of FinTech-Aviv, we could see that companies with higher ESG rating fell less in COVID-19, either in S&P 500 or other indexes. So, and it's very easy to explain or we hope that it's easy to explain, but the idea is that using ESG allows you, and implementing such methodologies, build trust among investors, it builds transparency. So it is something that the companies are focused, not only in their back-end operation, but also as their core value proposition to the market. In terms of the Israeli market, so we rank second globally in amount of investment per capita. 70% of total investment are done by foreign investors and multinationals. More than 600 fintech startups and 5 billion invested since 2017. And this is the most interesting part, is that 90% of fintechs have a global market focus, which brings me to which makes it such an interesting market for multinationals. There's more than 40 multinationals in Israel. We support many of them on their relationship with the Israeli industry and with the Israeli fintech industry and their local markets. So bridging the gap between either US, Europe, Australia, Southeast Asia, and other places around the world who wants to tap in innovation, fintech solutions that will benefit for them. And we see high interest in the Israeli market with R&D centers, scouters, and other initiatives. Many of them will be presenting and joining us throughout the day. In terms of investment in 2020, we saw 1.7 billion invested in fintech, which represent almost 20% of the total invested capital in Israel. I'm going to skip a little bit to make sure that we're time. And
I think the most interesting point in the last slide you showed, Tal, about the investments in 2020 is that the average amount for investment for a fintech company comparing to the average amount per investment for general high-tech, as we see on the left, is 22 for the fintech industry comparing to 14 for the general high-tech industry. And that shows how mature the fintech industry in Israel is and how big these rounds comparing to the general high-tech scene. So we see in Israel that definitely there are many technologies sprouting from our region. And if we want to take a quick look on the future of fintech and where are we going with it, not only in Israel, but the fintech trends all around the world, and just mention them in a quick sentence to clear the stage to Ilan from AWS. So we're definitely seeing not just cryptos, but also blockchain powered applications and fintechs, mainly for wire transfers. We're seeing GAFA companies and others, not just Google, Apple, Facebook, and Amazon, also other players playing the banking or the financial game and serving as banks. We'll see RPA, robotic processing automation, is the new normal. Open APIs, as I said before. We see RegTech and compliance. It's really booming nowadays to help different financial institutions to comply to different regulations that are structuring in their regions. And of course, we see the banking as a service trend. We are all going to enjoy from different banking applications and use them on the go at all times during our day without even noticing it. And not just that, we're seeing different trends and movements with embedded finance, as mentioned before. It's not just banking services, it's also payments on the go, as we used to consume different services with a seamless payment feature, such as Uber and different applications that allow us to pay on the go without us even getting notice of it. Of course, AI is here to stay, as we saw, and we're going to wrap it up here and invite Ilan Leiferman from AWS to give his keynote. So enjoy today. Thank you very much for staying with us. And Ilan, please, the stage is yours.
Thank you, Nir. Thank you, Tal. Let me share with you my screen, make sure that everything works, and then I'll start. I'll take it from here. First of all, thanks everybody for joining us today. Please confirm once you can see on your screen. 1 second. Cool. Can you see my screen? Okay, I cannot see you. If you can go on unmute and confirm.
we can see your screen. It's cool.
Portal.
Yeah, we can see your screen.
Cool. Excellent. So again, hi everyone. My name is Ilan Leiferman. I'm a senior fintech business development manager at AWS, and my purpose today is to share with you how we at Amazon Web Services work and engage with fintech startups in Israel and globally. But double clicking on the information that both Tal and Nir were sharing before, I wanted to share some data. So it was told before, right, that the 2020 investments in fintech in Israeli companies was a $1.7 billion, right? And that was shy of 2 billion, and we know that cybersecurity has been always kind of leading the charts with regards to Israel investments, and that was $2.9 billion. Now, what it's very interesting is to see how we are doing in 2021. 2021 thus far has raised, Israeli fintech companies have raised over $1.3 billion. And that represents 75% of the total money raised in 2020, and we're still in April. So we can see that as of today, fintech investment surpassed cybersecurity investments, at least year to date, which is very, very exciting. I don't know for you, but for me, working with fintechs and seeing the sheer amount of innovation coming out of Israel, it's really, really exciting times to be in the ecosystem. Now, the idea of this session was to kind of put together all the different questions that I get to hear the most from our customers, and I would like to answer them as they go through the session. So some of the questions that I hear the most from customers and fintechs are, why do fintechs build on AWS, or which programs does AWS offer? So hopefully I can answer all of those. Otherwise, happy to take offline any conversation with any of you. So let me get into it. First of all, let me share with you what's our vision here at AWS Startups. and our vision is basically to accelerate the success of every single startup on planet Earth. Now, since 2016, we have been innovating on behalf, 2006, AWS has been innovating on behalf of our customers. We've been providing on-demand availability of IT resources such as computing power, storage, databases, and analytics via the internet with a pay-as-you-go model. As of today, AWS offers over 200 fully featured services, data centers globally, and we serve millions of customers across 180 countries. And that includes fast-growing startups, enterprises, as well as government agencies. But for startups, the cloud infrastructure provides meaningful benefits, right? So first of all, know that it's very hard to estimate how much compute resources a startup at the very early days will need. So with AWS model, startups will only pay for the resources that they use. But not only that, it also allows you to launch faster your applications because you can spin up any amount of compute resources in a matter of minutes, which eventually allows you to experiment more often and at lower risk. So you can iterate as much as you want without risking any upfront investment. And that results in enabling you to focus on what matters most, which is always your business and your customers. So AWS removes the overhead of maintaining your infrastructure, and it allows startups to invest time, money, and resources in innovating on behalf of their own customers. And that can be globally, right? Your customers can be globally. As of today, AWS offers a global infrastructure. We are in 80 availability zones and 25 regions across the world. And lately we announced the plans on launching 5 more new regions in Australia, India, Indonesia, Spain, and Switzerland. Now, let me share with you why customers the like of Affirm, Coinbase, Stripe, or Robinhood have chosen AWS to build, grow, and scale their business. When we look at the FinTech Forbes 50, which features the top 50 fintechs, in 2019, all 50 of them were running workloads on AWS. And that is due to the fact that AWS for fintechs offers the most secure, compliant, and resilient cloud in the market, and that is globally. Whether it's in Brazil, like Nubank or Kayash in Japan, Paytm in India, or Zip in Australia, we power B2Bs, B2Cs, B2SMB fintechs in domains like lending, payments, crypto, as well as capital markets. But if I had to summarize the key reasons why these leading fintechs chose AWS in the first place, the first would be security. As we say here, security is job zero for AWS. So our core infrastructure meets the most stringent security requirements. We understand the regulatory and compliance obligations from financial services. But also the global infrastructure. As I said before, we offer fintech startups the ability to scale globally while maintaining the same levels of performance and availability. The other, I would say, underlying theme is the fact that AWS offers the most comprehensive suite of AI and ML as well as analytics services, and that allows developers of all skill levels to infuse artificial intelligence into their products, and as well as understanding better their customers. And lastly, the financial services industry and our expertise within it's a great lever for our fintech customers who want to sell their solutions to those banks and insurance companies that are working with AWS. Those companies and those financial institutions include the likes of Barclays, BBVA, Bankinter, Liberty Mutual, as well as Allianz. While if we look at the fintech side, we have customers like Gusto, like Mambu, Plate, and Funding Circle. And like our CEO Andy Jassy likes to say, there is no compression algorithm for experience, right? Which for us, that means that with the longest time in the market and the largest number of customers comes also the richest set of knowledge, so that we can share it with you, startups, as and when you need it. Let me jump into some customer stories that from some of the leading fintechs worldwide on how they're leveraging and using AWS to grow their business and serve the customers. Let me start by talking about Monzo. I don't know how many of you know Monzo, but it's a fully regulated neobank in the UK, and they've been building all the product and services on top of AWS from the get-go. They were managing over 4 million customers with a very small IT team, really running on our managed services. They run over 1,600 core banking microservices applications, and also they offer real-time statements as opposed to a 48 hours period of big banks. So really have full agility and can serve the customers in a fast way. Another customer that we're very proud of, it's a Solaris Bank. It's a fintech in Germany with a full bank license, and they're enabling a vast amount of fintechs through the banking as a service offering. As it was talked before around banking as a service. Solaris Bank uses EC2, VPC, Kubernetes, S3 to really offer a frictionless experience for its customers, and it launched already over 180 APIs for that banking as a service offering. Privitar is another great customer of ours, taking full advantage of AWS data lakes and offering privacy protected de-identified data sets. But let me get into how we at AWS engage with you, builders, founders, and startup operators. I'm part of the business development team. We're a global team that is formed of former founders, investors, and startup executives. So we've been on the trenches. We've been operating startups and working on the other side. So we know the pains, and we can very much relate to those. So I think that is very important in terms of the DNA of the team. We also have a dedicated fintech business development team, which serves all fintechs across the world. So whether you're looking for expanding on APAC, North America, Latin America, we do have fintech experts around the globe. And we also like to partner up with ecosystem players such as FinTech-Aviv, as well as accelerators, incubators, corporate venture arms. So we really try to be at every single stage of your journey as a startup, so that we can serve you when and when you need it and as you need it. But let me get into the programs, because over the past years, the startup organization at AWS has been creating a number of programs to answer the needs of our customers at scale. Whether it's from our early stage Activate program or go-to-market initiatives like APN or AWS Connections. Our ultimate goal is to form true partnerships with startups well beyond the infrastructure. So starting with the AWS Activate, we partner up with leading accelerators and VC funds to provide potential startups with resources that they might need, including credits, training, as well as technical support. But also for B2B startups that have already a clear product market fit and sell to financial services, we have our partner network, which essentially helps startups build a better together story with AWS. and eventually we help them to go to market together. We do co-selling motions as well as co-marketing. Some of the notable APM partners that we work with include Personetics, Mambu, Behave. So some Israeli great companies as well as other global startups. And whether it's an all-in, a partial migration, or just a new workload, we do also have specialized teams to support you on your migration journey. We support migrations. We have dedicated credits. We provide also partners to facilitate that process. So to really taking away all the overhead for startups. And so that is a program that we are very active with. So if any of you are thinking about building your new modernization 2.0 architecture 2.0, feel free to get back to me and we can discuss more in details. But also I wanted to share with you AWS Connections, which is a new program that we've been rolling out for the last few years that facilitates the relationship between our AWS enterprise customers and startups. So we basically start by identifying a use case from our enterprise customers and their technical needs, and then we will go back to our markets and look for startups that can fulfill those needs. We'll create these connections between enterprises and startups. You can see some of the numbers. So far, we're very active on the banking and insurance space. So we constantly have use cases and new banks all over the world that are bringing the use cases, and we're connecting them to Israeli startups. We also have the AWS Marketplace, which is a B2B software catalog that helps AWS customers to find, test, buy, and deploy software from independent vendors. And this actually helps very much startups to reduce sales cycle, because effectively the enterprise who sees solutions on the marketplace will buy quote unquote from AWS. So really taking away all the procurement and all the back office overhead that startups have to deal with when selling to enterprises. We also have a AWS Data Exchange, which makes it easy to find, subscribe, and use third-party data in the cloud to improve your models and to train your models with external data streams. And in financial services, we already offer 1,200 different data sets. So I encourage you to take a look at it. And we actually very recently launched an open finance / open banking platform in partnership with FinConnecta. This is a middleware infrastructure that allows some of our AWS banking customers to test and deploy open banking type of startups in this middleware that happens digitally, highly secured environments with APIs connecting. So if you're operating in this space, let me know, and we'll tell you more about this program and some initiatives that we have in the coming weeks. And lastly, as we move into this last section, what I would like to give you are some kind of concrete next steps on how you can follow up with us and how to think about the potential collaboration. So as we like to say here, we have a mantra, which is we do work backwards from our customers. And so all of us, whether it's a account manager, solutions architects, or myself and the business development team, we're here to help. But in order to really help you, we need to understand your business, your challenges, and so that we can offer you relevant support. So I always, when I speak to customers, and this is a message to all of you, I encourage you to share with us what are your key priorities, who are the customers that you're serving, what are the blockers that you find, so that we can effectively bring up some solutions that cater your specific pains. And those solutions might oftenly be, technical review. We will bring our solutions architect to help you with your, to help you to understand if you're using appropriately and optimize your architecture. It can be also, connecting you to a specific service team, whether it's AI, ML, or other teams, technical teams that we have all over AWS. But it can also be a very specific compliance or regulatory question that you might have. So really, we are here, we have the resources, we have the tools, the expertise, and the teams to really serve you the best possible way. And we encourage you to, get back to any of us with your needs, and we'll happily, support you on your journey. And so with that, I would like to thank you all again for joining us. Here's my email. You can reach out on LinkedIn. I'll turn the full screen off. Maybe there's some comments on the chat, so I can take a look at it.
Thank you very much, Ilan. This was awesome, and I love the use of awesome in AWS. That's very nice, very chic. So Ilan, thank you, and for all of you, please feel free to reach Ilan throughout the day. We'll summarize this session and see you in a couple of seconds in our next session with ING on how to connect with fintechs. Thank you very much, Ilan.
Thank you. Bye-bye.